guys, going to be talking about the Ikon A5 available at rcpowers.com PDF plans. They come free in the Perfect Park Jet system or the Ultimate course. If you already have the Ultimate course, the Perfect Park Jet system, you already have a copy of these in your download section. If you don't have the Perfect Park Jet system, pick up a copy and that's how you'll get the Ikon A5. Unfortunately, we won't be selling it outside the Perfect Park Jet system, so the only way to get it will be to pick up a copy of the Perfect Park Jet system. So let me cover some questions that you guys have been asking. The first has been the center of gravity. There's been some confusion over that. So let me just, on my wing here, it's back 2 inches from the leading edge. So about right there is where it balances on my plane. So give or take, yeah, about that zone right there, right where you see my finger tapping. So make sure this plane is nose heavy and not tail heavy, because the wings are actually angled to keep it from stalling and dipping into the water too much. If it's way tail heavy, or even slightly tail heavy, you actually have a very, very high tendency to tip stall. So make sure it's nose heavy to take advantage of the leading edge slats and all that. Also, some people asked about the leading edge slat angle. It's about lined up with the float tip. So you see the angle of the float tip and it aligns with the float tip. And then I just put some hot glue in the leading edge there to hold the angle. And that's more than enough strength. Also, a lot of you guys have been asking about the detachable wing. Here's how I have it set up. The hatch, it actually provides basically a butt up against the wing to keep it from moving around too much. And then from that point, it actually slides right off. I slide it about halfway, and I actually don't have the servos attached to the wing, and it's not that big of a deal. Just undo the control horns, and the wing slides right off. So the wing is just one piece. A 6mm spar goes from here to here. Just one, should do the trick. The Ikon is basically one piece without the wing attached. And as you can see, I have the one piece of 6mm layered foam to slide the wing in between. So this is actually part of the fuselage when you're building the plane. Now, you also notice I have 2 magnets here. I have a set of magnets on the wings to oppose those. So you have 2 magnets here and then 2 magnets here. You have 2 magnets on the bottom here and then 2 magnets on the wing here and here. And those are actually like 1/2-inch magnets. They're honestly, most of the wing strength comes from the friction though when you slide this in, and you know, even at this point there isn't a whole lot of give, and that tells you that it's lined up and the wing's where it's supposed to be. My battery placement is, as you can see, as close to the center of gravity as I can, or the center line as I can get it, and it's really close to the center of gravity as well. With the straight wing version, it's an extra zip file download in the forum. The battery has to be like all the way on the tip of the nose, and that actually causes a problem for water handling. So I definitely recommend the angled wings on this model. Okay, also the carbon placement in the plans is critical. You do want 6mm carbon in these wings. I think a couple guys have tried like 3mm carbon or several 3mm carbons in the wing, and it just doesn't work. You really need that heavy duty strength of a 6mm carbon spar. The 3mm stuff just isn't good enough for these long, skinny wings. This, you know, it's not a park jet, it's a regular plane, so it does need a lot of strength in the wings. The carbon is in the tail here, and there's 2 pieces of carbon, that's actually the wire, in the T-tail here. So 2 layers of foam thick with 2 pieces of carbon in each layer of the foam. That's critical because especially these T-tails like to do this thing right here, and the carbon is placed in such a way to keep it from flexing a whole lot. So if you don't put enough carbon in there, if you don't put it the way it's placed in the plans, or you only put 1 piece of carbon in there instead of 2, you're probably going to be running into flex issues. So I'd highly recommend directly following the carbon placement, because I experimented with that a crap ton. Also, when you glue the tail together, make sure you put plenty of glue around here, because once again, flex will come if you don't. Also, for center of gravity adjustment, I have the rudder servo in the front canopy. Hopefully you'll be able to see it there. If not, oh well. Basically I have the rudder servo in the front, and then the tail servo, the elevator servo, is in the back right up against the elevator. So that's basically to put a little bit of weight in the back, but not too much. Because if there's too much, then you run into problems again. I think that's about it. Just make sure your center of gravity is about spot on, about 2 inches behind the leading edge from the center. Because this plane actually has two center of gravities, the aerodynamic center of gravity and then the hydrodynamic center of gravity. So if the wing center of gravity is too far forward, the nose will actually dig in and it won't hydroplane up and take off like you want it to. So it's actually very critical that the center of gravity is about 2 inches behind the wing on this, because if it's too far forward, the nose digs in. If it's too far back, it's too tail heavy, and now you tip stall all over the place. Also, almost forgot, waterproofing. I used exclusively hot glue to waterproof this plane. I basically only built the bottom section and then basically tested it in a bathtub. And I noticed some leaks, especially in like the center area here. Added a crap more hot glue, water tested it again, water tested it again. It took me a couple hours, but eventually I was able to waterproof it with with 100% hot glue. So hot glue should do fine. I've heard some other tricks like using caulking or other kinds of sealant. You're more than welcome to try those. Just make sure it's not a solvent against the foam. And you also want to watch the weight, even though this plane isn't really weight sensitive. So, you know, as long as you're not throwing bricks in the bottom, it should be fine. Before I go, I wanted to talk about the throws real quick because I got a couple questions on those. The aileron and rudder throws are around 1 inch in each direction. Those aren't really important though. I would say do those more to your preference. Not so much, you know, what I say, but you know, about 1 inch, give or take. What's important though is the elevator throw. Because this plane is designed like it is, like a Hawk Sky or Cessna style plane, the elevator throws are critical. They need to be under or around 1/2 inch in each direction. If it's moving too much, what will happen is when the plane's going along and it pulls up, you'll actually force it into a tip stall because the wings can't catch up fast enough. So basically keep the elevator throws below or around 1/2 inch in each direction measured from the trailing edge. And also when you're flying this, just keep in mind it has to be flown like a regular plane. It's not a part jet where you can just stall it into the grass. It needs long, shallow approaches for landings and then long lead-ups for takeoffs. It's not a turn and jerk style plane. I think that's it. If you have any more questions, ask them in the comments or on the forum thread, and I'll do my best to answer them. See ya.